We are live. Boom. Hi, everyone.
Awesome, everyone. We have Dheeraj, myself, Melvin, special guest. Ooh, ooh,
Just a
ooh.
fly on the wall.
Fly on the wall, special
Yeah.
meditator guest. Let's get this going. So we're live on YouTube, right? And we're live on StreamYard, and this will be recorded for some amazing human beings that signed up in a few places. And yeah, we'll get to this. Talk about the power of meditation with an expert and an author, Dheeraj.
Yeah.
And woo, applause. And then we have a special, like we said, special guest that joined us, Melvin. Surprise, surprise, straight from
Yeah.
Woo!
Singapore. And but let's quickly, I'll introduce myself, and then Dheeraj can introduce himself, and Melvin can say something about himself. But me, I've been somebody that's been a seeker from a young age, and then practiced all kinds of different meditation forms and transformational practices since I'm really, really young. And I have a practice that I use every single day of my life. It has changed my life. And I also do coaching, and now I just started my creative studio called 1111 Studios. And currently a digital nomad, and I'm going to sacred places all around the world. And I'm excited to be here and share this special space for the first time with with the one and only Dheeraj. Woohoo!
Okay, that was really cool. Thanks.
Woo!
So, quick introduction about me. My name is Dheeraj, and I am a software engineer by profession. But I always had this curiosity and um, yeah, the eagerness to learn what's behind the whole life. Like, there are these mysterious questions like, what are we doing here? What happens after death? What happened before birth? And there's so many unexplained questions, and this kept boggling me since childhood. And that's when I wanted to like understand the spectrum that is not visible to our naked eye. So that's how it started out. And I learned my first meditation from my mom. This was when I was at a very young age, maybe around 11, and I was at a hostel, like it's called what do you call this, a boarding school. And yeah, so she just taught me this, and she said you could do this if you want to keep yourself calm and grounded. And I was like, okay, this sounds cool. And that's how I started off meditating. And like a year or so ago, I had this really low point in my life, and I was like, dude, I'm not doing anything fun or anything valuable, like adding meaning or being very constructive in my own life, right? And the whole COVID season was happening, and I was just stuck home. And then I thought, people are doing these 100-day challenges, 21-day challenges, and I'm like, what is that one thing I can do for like 1,000 days? And then I'm like, dude, I don't mind. I can do like 1,000 days of meditation, and that's going to be like a challenge. And discipline has always been like a big thing for me, and I was never disciplined. So I was like, let's do 1,000 days challenge and see how far can I go. And of course, Nas uh, did this whole 1,000 days of video challenge, and I saw his whole videos when he started off. His videos weren't that great, and yeah, he was he was fumbling. And but now when you look at his videos, they're like so perfect, so professional. So that's when I realized, like, you got to start somewhere. And he actually kind of challenged himself, like, I'm going to make 1,000 videos every day, and let's see where this goes. If it doesn't go, there's nothing to lose. I was like, that's not bad, even I could do that. And that's how this whole thing started off. And yep, that is a little bit about me.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's a great way to challenge yourself, right? That with 1,000 days and build discipline. And it's something um, I have heard this term called pliscipline. When you mix discipline and do something that's good for you and feels good, you grow, and then it becomes blissipline. So I
Whoa.
think that's a very good reframe. But so Dheeraj is also an author of a book. He just came out with a book called The Boundless Lotus: The Things They Don't Teach You at School. You wanted to tell us a few words about this book?
Okay, so this, since I've always been spiritual, I used to meditate, but not regularly. And there was this one stretch in my life where I went to this one meditation retreat for like 10 days. This was like putting it on hard mode because this is called Vipassana meditation. And essentially, you stay pretty much cut out from the outer world and you just dive inside and you just start observing this magnificent thing called body. And it's more of self observation, and you don't talk to anyone, and you just eat basic food, and yeah, live off meditating 10 hours a day, and not doing any stupid activities, I guess. So essentially you don't get to, yeah, no drinking, no smoking, no drugs for sure, and you don't do sexual misconduct, you don't lie. So there were kind of a series of basic rules for living a really happy communion life, I guess. And so that kind of kicked me off. And then after the 10th day, I was like, I'm a total different person. Like, I'm not the same guy who entered this meditation retreat. And so I knew there was potential in me, and if I actually stay on this path, I could be way more awesome than I am right now. So I started writing a couple of notes. So I had the spiritual journal and I kept writing them throughout my life. There used to be like one day I'll be sitting and then this thought comes. So I read this quote that thoughts come like a really fast wave. You just need to capture it. So I used to keep a book and keep writing them. And as I grew up, I started taking notes on my phone. So that's how I had this whole collection of really good pointers, gems that I thought of, epiphanies and revelations. And yeah, so in the COVID season, I thought, let me just make a book out of it, man. Why not? Like, I think I have enough content to make one. So I sat down and I started collating them, and it became a decent amount of content. And it took me a while to edit, I won't lie. It took me almost like a year to edit it because that's the whole fun part. Like, it's not about writing content, it's more about editing it again and again and crafting that whole content that you want to share with the people. And this book was essentially for my grandkids because there's a backstory for that. I didn't spend enough time with my grandfathers, like my mom's side, my dad's side. Both of them passed away at a very early age, and I didn't get to spend a lot of time. But all my friends used to have their dads buying them gifts and gifting them and giving them money, and I'm like, dude, I don't have one. Where did mine go? So I thought, like, if that happens with me, I should be ready with my stories and fun things that I want to pass it on for my lineage and grandkids. So that's essentially this book. This book is basically some really wisdom, wise things that I've learned so far in 30 years, which I can pass on to my grandkids so that they don't have to go through all this turmoil on figuring out what life is about. And but it's not like you just have to believe all that I say. It's like more of a, dude, this is what I've learned. You should try this out and see in your life if it works out or not. Yeah. So that's how the whole book came out, and here we are.
Wow, so Vipassana and for grandkids, that's these are like the two key things. And I took a look at it on Amazon. It talks about, even manifestation, right? And things like that, which is
Yep.
pretty good. It's what a gift to pass on to your grandchildren. I'm kind of thinking, ahead like that. Very, very, very nice. So Boundless Lotus, I love the name, and it's such a beautiful name. Things they don't teach in school. I've also done Vipassana, and it's quite transformative. And
Yeah.
it's you could really face all your what they call sankaras. It's like taking meditation to the next level. A lot of people, I feel like, practice meditation. They visualize something, something to keep them calm them down and have less stress and anxiety and all that. And then Vipassana is just like really like a this is like the real deal meditation or transformational practice where you transform things that get in the way of your everyday life, all the emotions and feelings and that things that actually get you out of meditation, right? The whatever things arise in your system, be it physical, emotional, or mental, right? So Vipassana is really, really powerful. I've done it too, so I can totally relate coming out as a as a new person. So Boundless Lotus, we can drop a link, or you can just look it up if you're watching live with the recording. You can look it up on Amazon, and you can get it. You've got a good deal there, I see too, right?
Yep. I have it on Amazon.com and Amazon.in. Wherever you are, feel free to go ahead and get it.
Woohoo! Amazing. So thank you for that. And then we've got a, like we said, we have a special guest that's joined us last minute. Maybe you want to say a few words about yourself and what's your relationship to meditation.
Hi, Melvin here. If you don't already know me, I'm based in Singapore. I am a content creator who's now concentrating on building content for TikTok. I have a relatively okay TikTok channel, which is like roughly about 5,000 people. So been building a lot there, trying to grow my reach in order to create a financially sensitive community, so that we can all strive for better financial literacy. And that's the mission of my channel. And I really, as far as meditation goes, I didn't grow up being a very spiritual person, so I don't have a relationship with meditation until I converted to Christianity. And I mean, for my church, meditation is a different thing. It has a different definition. So my understanding of meditation is like filling your mind with a particular verse and then meditating on it, making sure that you internalize into yourself and find new meaning in it. So that's my understanding. Total new. I have no idea what's going to happen. As what Martha Christie said, I was just fumbling upon the WhatsApp group chats, and I saw that they were going live. I'm going in. I'm going to get. I have a bit of time, so yeah, here I am right now, and I really, really hope to learn from both Martha Christie and Dheeraj.
Yay,
Looking
let's
forward.
go.
Woo!
Let's go.
Amazing. We're so glad to have you here, and thank you so much for sharing
Thank you
your
for accepting
experience.
me.
So
Yes.
happy to have you. Oh God, Melvin's the best in Singapore. Awesome. But let's we because we promised our listeners, viewers, some couple of like basic bases here. Like what the power of benefits of meditation are and how to get started and keep going, and then Dheeraj will lead us to a guided meditation practice, and then any Q&A if we have questions from Melvin or others in any of the lives on YouTube, and then we'll wrap it up. But Dheeraj, would you like to do the guided meditation experience in the now, or would you like to end with it? Totally up to you. How would you
Uh,
like to go?
Either way, if you want, we could just talk a little bit about it, and then you could dive into the meditation session, and then we can have like a Q&A.
Awesome. Let's do it. So you wanna yeah, so basically this is how to vibe with us. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comments and hope we find them on YouTube. But it's better if you come over to StreamYard, then we can join us right in the comment section. And this will be recorded, just to mention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is like I just because we told people we'll talk about the power and benefits of why you should meditate. So I just laid out a couple of key things that these are not just like, hey, Martha Christie and Dheeraj are thinking meditation's awesome, right? But these four facts are actually scientifically researched facts, and there's many more. I just took like the first basic ones that could be relevant for everyone. If you know, because for us, I think we've done this like almost our whole life. So you don't need to convince us of any benefits. We know it changes your life and your focus, right? And when it comes to like stress reduction, there's research and anxiety, and then self awareness. The main thing for me is also focus, right? I used to be like whew, ADHD all over the place, and the meditations or dhyans that I practice are really helping me really like you know really focus. It's not just like, oh, feel good for a half an hour, but actually when I go back to real life, whatever work I do, it really brings the benefits there. So these are not made up research. This is really that way. So what about the benefits? You would like to share about, Dheeraj, or how?
So when I was young, I saw this one Discovery documentary where this guy goes to the Himalayas and they see these saints meditating in the blistering cold without any clothes. And the guy was like, how's this possible? It's like inhumanly not at all possible. So they bring the monk back to their research center and then wire him all up, and then they try to see what's happening. What is this guy trying to do? So I think he kind of chants Om and or hums Om, and he just sits there. So what they realize is a normal person who's sitting there in the thermo radiation screen, his body's blue because it's cold. The room is cold, and that's how this heat signal is. And the guy who's meditating, his body is red in color, like he's generating heat. So that was kind of like, oh, this is like a scientific thing too, man. Like who knew? And apart from that, human beings right now have a attention span of a goldfish. That is something which we don't even have to emphasize on. Like everyone is on the TikToks, or I mean, not I'm not saying that, but Facebook or Instagram. They just want to get that quick dopamine rush, right? But then that's what happens when you start meditating. You start to realize that you can actually stay longer periods just not doing anything, like, but that's going to take a long time. It's like the first day you won't start learning cycle, right? Like you fall down a few times, and then maybe like the third day or fourth day you catch up on it, and then you start to bicycle straight, and then maybe the fifth day or seventh day you're doing wheelies and stuff like that. So that's how even meditation is. Like you don't expect to be like a pro on the day one. There will be thoughts, you will feel discomfortable, there'll be pain in your knees, pain in the back, and oh, that thought came by, and then like you would be getting random thoughts, like literally the thoughts which you never even thought of, like, oh, that guy said something to me, I'm gonna go back and take revenge. Or something silly like this is always gonna come up, and what you need to be is very calm and totally observe what is coming. So that is the essence that I've learned from Vipassana is whenever there's a thought, whenever there's something, emotion or some kind of uneasy feeling or arises, just observe it. Do nothing. Don't. So what Vipassana Guru says is there's only two things a mind wants. One is craving, another one is avoiding things. So it's pain or pleasure. That's the only thing our subconscious mind understands, and subconscious mind is pretty much like an animal. Only the conscious mind is pretty judgmental, analytical, logical. Subconscious mind is like, if there's anything painful, I don't want to do it. If there's something pleasurable, I want to chase that, right? So that's how our mind is always trained to. So when a thought arises, if you like it, you would start chasing it. If you don't like it, you would start pushing it away. So that's what the teacher says is just do nothing, observe the way it is. And just by observing the way it is, it vanishes. And this is something which I've experienced so many times. Yeah, I have no other experience that I can share better than this. Like if you could just do this one simple thing called observing, all your problems would vanish. I'm not saying this would happen straight off the bat, but as you keep doing this, you will get stronger. It's just like going to a gym. As you keep lifting the weights, after a few days, you would grow muscles. And even the starting few days, there will be muscles growing, but they won't show up because there's this huge layer of fat on top of it, right? Same way, even though you're making progress in meditation, maybe the starting few days you won't feel anything because there's so much ignorance, so much illusion, so much trauma, stress, worry, emotions you've suppressed into yourself. As you keep doing this, it slowly start to loosen up and everything starts to come out. So it takes a while. Give it some time, and yeah, hopefully you will like it.
Yeah, I like the Vipassana, the craving and aversion, like the good and the bad, right? The pleasure and pain. So everything in our life is basically whatever got recorded on the side, the pleasure side. Sometimes it's even bad things, like eating something that's not good for us. It's on the pleasure side, and then we just keep doing that, and then avoiding doing the good things because maybe something bad happened when we did something good, somebody said we're bad, and then our whole life is controlled by that, right? And then what you said is becoming an observer, right? And you just kind of keep looking and like, oh, this is going on, this is not me, right? It's just these are like separate things, separate phenomena that's happening. And like you said, the key point to get started is just being an observer. And there's so many meditation apps and tracks on YouTube and everywhere out there, but I feel like the observing piece is so important, because this is something you can do every day. Because when I first started meditating, I heard about this fact that first I forced myself to meditate with incense. I had to have the perfect setting with candles, all that. I was like really young, and I always had to have that. It had to be perfect, no sound, no nothing. And then, but then somebody said that it's possible to get to a state where meditation becomes your daily experience wherever you go or whatever you do. And after doing vipassana and similar practices, I also realized it's so possible, because you just keep being a meditator no matter what you do or wherever you go. And yeah, really observing your the cravings and versions and the triggers. This is like the real, like, I'm so glad we're talking about this, because this is the real meditation. It's not just the feel good for a little bit, which is good too, not to judge or discount it. It's so good too, better than not doing anything. But like vipassana is like really going very very deep and really transforming yourself. And what I also found for myself is different release techniques, of also similar to Vipassana, of releasing of emotions and thoughts, like the art of conscious change and the Sedona method and things like that, really helped me release all those things and energies and agitation, everything that brings me out of meditation. Like, I felt like a lot of times it's not even my thoughts. For a lot of people think it's their thoughts, but it's really the emotions in our body or the energies. They're like, oh, I need to move, I can't do this. It's just like, oh, it's like ants in your pants, and like this fast energy. Because and of course, yoga, I feel like doing physical body asanas, the outer asanas, are important too, because it will kind of helps our body be able to stay. If we do it like a seated practice, it kind of helps us, so we don't have to focus on the stiffness so much. But with vipassana type of techniques, you can actually transform that as well. Everything is a practice, so you don't have to be perfect, right? Like, um and it's just, this is the meditation, the transformation aspect, right?
Yep, yep,
Mm.
absolutely right. And there's this one other, not like contradictory thought, but there's this common belief that people need to be a celibate or should become a bachelor to do follow this path. I think that's kind of not required. It was Buddha, the guy. Buddha came in and then he kind of brought in this whole revolution that just give up the whole world, renounce the world, stop working, and all. But honestly, I don't think that's necessary. Frankly speaking, even before Buddha, there were so many other Buddhas. So Buddha means an awakened one. His name is not Buddha. His name is actually Siddhartha Gautam. And when he turned into a Buddha, people started calling him Buddha. And he was one of the Buddhas who got really famous. So there were a lot of Buddhas before him. There are Buddhas right now. There are going to be more Buddhas in the future also. So people who are awakened, who call Buddha. And before Siddhartha Gautama, there were many other Buddhas who had a normal family, who got married, who had kids, who did some base common jobs, and they still got enlightened. So there's this common misconception that you should turn into a bachelor or renounce everything. I think that's totally not needed.
Yeah, that is very true. I also thought I was facing this thing, uh, that to meditate you have to be some very spiritual person when I first started. And then, like, so either you can go deep into spirituality and renounce all the material world. And it always felt like this either or path, and I knew there's got to be a balance. And then, you know I think I went to both. I'm like, I was really gonna go master this physical world and do get the best everything. But then when I met my first spiritual teacher, I, I lost all interest for that, and I was so not interested in any of that. And then um, later, after going in this way and that way, the both extremes, I
Together.
also kind of discovered the middle path. We need to, having both is like real mastery, right? It's like not you're gonna either you're not you're the society these days don't support you becoming homeless. Nobody's gonna give you food at the door like back in the days. It's different times. And then many people say we need that meditative presence in the cities. It's easy to meditate in the mountains, in the Himalayas, where there's peace and quiet. But your real meditation is like when there's life happening around you, right? There's people are gonna trigger you. Coworkers are gonna say something, and things like that. And we're in the middle of chaos, or I feel like real spirituality, we can go to a retreat and be all like happy, holy people, but real spirituality is how we are around people that are around us every day, our coworkers, our family. This is where it really is. And using being an observer in these situations is when it really, really matters, because these are the sweetest spots for trigger to get so basic to get identified or get pulled in, and then this emotion takes over and you're out of meditation at that point.
So
Subconsciousness overtake. That's amazing.
yeah, that
And
reminds me of a story. I think this is a story told by Buddha himself, where he tells like there are these three or four horses, where the first horse would run as soon as you take the whip out, and it can actually see the shadow, and then it runs, and then it just looks at the shadow and then it runs even before the whip hits. And then there is the other one where the whip is almost about to hit, and then it senses it and then it runs. And then there's this third horse where until the whip hits it doesn't run. And then the fourth horse, even after the whip hits him, until the pain reaches the bone of its marrow, it doesn't run. So everyone has this layer of illusion all over them, right? So these retreats are really cool, man. These are like your learning curves, where these are like a school, imagine. So like in a kindergarten, something like that, where they train you like what you are capable of. They actually show you that, dude, this is your real potential, you can go up to here. And then they let you out in the real world. So it's up to you to make a choice whether you want to continue being that person, or you just want to dilute yourself into the real world and just carry on whatever is happening with you, or do you want to take control and charge of your own life and make your own choices. It's essentially like being responsible for your own activities, right? So that's what really matters. And I only went once, and I think I never went back, because the guy himself tells like, don't come here again, because I've already given you the secret. Use it and be better. There's no point coming back here again. But people still go there like 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times. I'm like, it doesn't make sense. There's nothing more there to learn. Like, it's all given in the first time, and it's all about practice, essentially. Like, how do you feel? That's how.
it's like do it or not. You've got it. I feel like many people that keep going back, while maybe you can learn something or go deeper if you didn't hear it for the first time. But a lot of times maybe people have some sort of like a subconscious thing in there, which is like, oh, I didn't master it, or I don't know it enough. I need to be with the teacher. Like it's like the old school, the way we were raised. But
Yeah.
but you could use the tools that being an observer did that too, and transform that. But that takes like a next level of awareness, right? To actually say, wow, that's what's playing out in myself, and that's amazing. What about you, Melvin? Did you any takeaways on when it comes to being an observer, or are you excited to go to Vipassana now, or are you going to do something differently from the few things we have spoken about?
Yeah, I think all this while I have learned to, I mean, you can't stop being angry or being upset, right? You can't control your emotions that way, but you can control how you react to those emotions. So I think it really just begins, it starts on observing and starts on thinking what's going on. um, in my impression, something that is centered around meditation is about being in the present, being mindful. You know, when you are worried about something, you're thinking about the future. Uh, when you are angry, you're thinking about something in the past, right? So I mean, I've been kind of like practicing it, maybe consciously, but I would really love to see how meditation takes me to, you know, practicing it in daily life until it becomes unconscious.
Yep, that is so true. I would actually vouch for that, Melvin. So when I
Mhm.
started off meditating, I used to like force myself, and it used to be really uncomfortable just to sit in this one place, not moving and just focusing on my breath. It's so boring. And then I think maybe on day 200 or after that, every moment was like that. Every moment felt like I'm just focusing on my breath, and I'm so calm. And I was unconsciously, subconsciously in that state, and I was still doing my day-to-day life things like going to work, doing my job, eating food, but everything else had this another essence to it, like it wasn't the way it was before. I used to still do the same things, but I was more aware of what I was doing. I was aware that okay, I'm going to work, I'm going into my car. Oh yeah, I was just so mindlessly going, doing, coming. So that was the only difference I felt. But yeah, you should try and maybe experience
Yeah.
it for you.
And to add to Melvin's point about emoji, like just observing and seeing how to react, how you react to your emotions, that's like a very like foundational practice. It's like being an observer and noticing and not getting identified with this experience. But I've actually what the game changer was for me were the techniques that teach you how to release emotions, and it's so a game changer. So this is something I practice, and I'm training myself to teach one of those things. And I think one is the art of conscious change, and then another one is the Sedona method and uh, David Hawkins's teachings. Oh,
Mhm.
so powerful! Like how you can release those triggers by just simply asking, "Can I let go of it?"
I'm curious to know what's the Sedona method.
Ooh, ooh,
Yeah, so am
ooh.
I. I can't wait
Oh
to hear more about
my
that.
god. Oh my god. Like I can send you more information about it. But basically, like let's say you feel angry or you feel triggered with somebody. You feel that, you feel where you feel it, and then you ask that feeling, can I let go of it? And then you get a
Mm.
yes or a no. And whatever you get, yes or a no, in both cases you feel the release. And you keep asking that same feeling or emotion, can I let go of it? As many times as needed for it to completely go away, because sometimes there's more layers, and it really really works. And this technique goes even deeper. There's more steps to it, but this is the foundational step. And my mom says she goes to, like, after work, she on her way home driving, she just uses that and it really works. It's that simple. And there's a really good PDF I can share with you guys to teach us how to do that. And but it's just as simple as asking a question, because your true self has the power to let go of it. And the key is to really observe it leaving. And with that inhale, you see it go away. Like feel it leaving your body. It's very similar to vipassana, and but a little different, but sometimes easier to use in like day to day. And actually they're both kind of easy to use, but it's a little different of an approach. But I find it so powerful, and really has changed my life. Really do, really 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 has. And this is like what I practice is my meditation. Actually, I practice more of a dynamic form of a meditation when I sit, even in my seated practice. I just release everything that I'm not, all those energies and emotions and thoughts, and just like let it go, let it go. Like this is like it's going. They also call it the letting go technique or the surrender technique. This has changed my life. Like Vipassana also kind of surrenders everything. peels the layers so that, when you go back to your regular life, or when you're not practicing, or you can practice on the go as well, but it's just like you can really like, those triggers don't come back because you have done the work. They're gone. The anger, the upset, the anxiety. It's really possible to get it to a level where it just doesn't come to you anymore. It's done its job. It's out. It's released back to the source energy, or whatever you call it. And you really, it's just seeing how those benefits slowly unfold and unfold, and next day and you're like, wow, I feel so peaceful. Like, this person would say this thing before, and now, it really, like, there's not even a reaction. I'm kind of like looking sometimes, so where is it? It's like I'm supposed to be like upset right now, but I'm not. This is where that's what's possible, right? You're like, one thing is to kind of mentally convince yourself that, okay, I should not react to it, I should not, but then another thing is to not have any trigger at all. And that's, if you go really deep into meditation and practices, that's the real deal, right? So both are great, but it's like, I'm sharing this to kind of let you know um, what it could be like, completely zero triggers. Of course, there will be layers of them. There's a lot of work to do for a whole lifetime, but it gets really good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's so many spiritual practices all around the world. It's hard to like pinpoint which one to take. I always have this analogy that it's like one tree with many branches. You could choose any branch. At the end, it's going to come back to this one root, one trunk. That's how I kind of look around things. Because honestly, there's so many school of thoughts, and I think every one of them would get you there. Just that you choose what way you want to do it, right? It's like there was this really famous saying by Bruce Lee where he says that I'm not scared of a guy who knows 1,000 punches, but I'm scared of a guy who's practiced one punch 1,000 times. So yeah, I would leave it there.
Exactly. It's like, pick whatever feels good, feels aligned, and then what you can stick with, right? Because if something works for me, it may not work for you or Melvin. Maybe Melvin needs to put on the new metaverse
Okay.
meditation.
Not my bag, not my bag. No, in fact, what you mentioned just now about surrendering, right? That's exactly what I do when I pray. So
Wow.
maybe, and
See
like
that?
what you said, what Dheeraj said, it could be one tree with different branches, and all of us lead to the same source. And
Mm.
I've had similar conversations with another friend who's practicing meditation. He also we shared stories from both our backgrounds, and we realized that spirituality kind of like all converges upon a shared source of knowledge and wisdom. So yeah, I mean, what you mentioned just now is not the first time I've heard it. It's amazing.
It
That's
is so true,
Mm,
because like Buddha also says, there are many ways to the way, right?
mm,
And when I study different world religions and you go really deep into the root, that it's really the same thing. It just, the rest is just whatever traditions people create, different cultures. Beautiful, all of them are beautiful, so much respect. But at the end, it's just like, ooh, it's the same root, and it's
yeah.
like, guys, let's hold. We're all
I
one.
Yeah, I think the rule book has been written. It's just that the rule book of life has been written. It's just that, yeah, I think some people play it a different way. It's just like football versus footy. Yeah, I think it's like that.
that's, that's crazy. Cool, cool, cool. So did we reach the point where we can do this really quick meditation session?
And are we still gonna go to like 2 minutes, or Melvin, you have more time? You're the special. Uh,
Actually, I have something that requires us to do a crash course because I really need to go to the toilet, but that is huge. That is huge because right now all I can think of is, am I gonna get make it to the toilet?
No, no,
Right.
you're
So
good. It's
yes, I think a quick session. I think I can hold it in for another like maybe 5 minutes or so. My bladder's not
okay.
that strong anymore, but yes.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna keep it really short. We'll do it 2 minutes. So this is how I started off, because when I started it was really difficult. So I thought of what could be the most nicest, easiest way to get into this habit. So I decided like I'll start at like 5 minutes, and then every day I went on adding like a minute, till I reached like an hour, and I was like, dude, I can do this. It's not that hard, and that's how I got hooked onto this whole thing. Cool. But so today we're gonna do like a two minute session, and it's gonna be very simple. So this is not vipassana, so you don't have to be worried. This is very basic. So you could do this anywhere, anytime, essentially. Yeah. So maybe when you're at work, when you're trying to get to work, when you're in the bus, anytime. Okay, so I'm gonna play like a small guided meditation recording that I did a while ago, and we can just meditate along. Sounds cool? Okay, awesome. Be silent, close your eyes, and feel your bodies to be completely frozen. This is the right moment to enter in. Gather all your energies, all your consciousness, and rush towards the inner center of your being. Come back, but with the same grace, same silence, same beauty. Sit for a few moments just to remember what space you had entered in. Gently open your eyes whenever you're ready. I hope you guys had fun, and did you enjoy it, Madeline?
Yes, I did. It's quite nice to not focus on the drones flying outside, which is really happening right now, and seeing that energy within my body. I focused on an orange light, orange glow within myself. I don't know whether that's the right way or not, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, how did you feel, Martha?
I love that he said go to the core of your being, and I just felt like really like becoming one with my true self and consciousness. And I really like getting in the space of thoughtlessness. And the way this instructor said it, it's just so. It's so. I love his commands are very clear, and it really just like takes you deep within. In whichever way you see it, like Melvin uh,
That's D-Rush,
explained.
right? That's a recording of. Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me.
That's you.
Cool. Like, wow, Martha's such.
Gee, praise is best received like that.
Oh my god! I thought you had some like. Oh my god! It's really good. I hope you have it like. Hope you're like have those tracks for sale or something. You recorded it.
Yeah, that was my
Oh
first.
my god!
I was like a young.
Oh, so good. Oh my god! I'm impressed now. Oh my god! I was first. I thought you were gonna like guide us through live, and then you put on a record. I'm like, oh, maybe you have a teacher that you really respect, like Goenka or some Vipassana person. But oh my god, it was really good. It was you.
Glad that you guys enjoyed it, and I think. Do you guys have any other questions, or what else are you expecting out of meditation in general?
I'll definitely have a thought about it. And yeah, I mean, we're in a group chat. We'll have a chat.
Awesome, cool. All right then.
Let's do a quick. I don't know if Melvin can hold it for another moment. Let's do another quick. Now we're both on full screen. All of us on full screen. It's the photo and the video.
Hi.
Hi, 15 seconds, guys.
Hi.
Frankie,
That's not
sorry.
really like kind of like meditation. Yeah, it's a bit too hyped up.
Yeah,
Yeah, we exactly. We're
Yeah.
our
But how can I not
autopilot.
be excited?
Yeah, our
Right?
autopilot comes in, right? It's like, oh, let's go, right?
With
We just
the techno music.
do,
imagine,
yeah.
imagine if you could do this for like an hour straight.
Mm,
That's and even I think that is still too less because honestly,
mm,
as per my experience, I feel like it takes more than an hour to get to that inner state. Like the first
mm,
1 hour you just spend in quietening all the garbage that you collect throughout the day. Like every day, this is what I realize is every day when I sit in meditation, I'm just cleansing myself, cleansing my mind of all the things that I
mm.
put in the earlier day. And one day when I sat in and then there was nothing to clean, I was like, I actually reached that spot.
Uh,
Yeah, so eventually, meditation is pretty much like cleaning garbage. You can use it for garbage cleaning, but it has even more potential. It can actually make you into a rocket, but you're using it to clean garbage, if you get that analogy.
mm,
So don't try to get beyond this, and if you don't stop doing the same old repetitive patterns that you do to self harm yourself, if you stop doing that, then meditation can get you even more farther, and it'll actually make you fly, right?
mm,
Then just it does both the things perfectly, like cleaning garbage and turning into a rocket. But it's up to you to choose which direction you want to go to. If you keep doing the same old things every day, you would just be ending up cleaning the garbage. But if you figure out what's wrong, and if you start realizing and owning responsibility and doing the right actions, doing the right things, you would soon turn into a rocket.
mm. Thank you so much
Amazing.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's like what you're saying in the garbage is like meditation is like taking an inner shower, right?
Yep.
We take care of our physical bodies because everybody can see and smell us. If we don't, but nobody can see what's suppressed underneath there, right? So
Mm,
we don't prioritize it as much, and we don't clean the inner garbage. But it really is even more important. It's like our why. If we do that, like I notice when do my practice, like people will relate to me differently. Like people be more excited to be around me. It's just magic does happen, and so yeah, exactly. It can make us a rocket, like more
Yep.
focused, more clear, and it's just amazing. Woohoo! Thank you so much, Dheeraj,
You're
and
Thank you so much,
and
Dheeraj.
thank you all
Thanks,
for
Martha
joining.
Christie.
It was amazing. Thanks,
thank
Martha.
you,
Thanks.
Melvin, the
Thank you.
special
So
surprise
happy to
guest.
be here once again.
Oh yes, getting back together with our
Yes.
Academy crowd,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
so we will we'll put the link to your book in the lives recordings, and then
Uh,
any questions we'll find in the comments. I guess you can get back to them because right now we don't have them available to see, but we will, if we see any questions in any of the live stream comments, either one of us or Melvin will come and answer them.
all right. See you guys.
Yay. See
Peace.
ya. See you guys.
Namaste, peace,
Namaste. Bye.
bye.